Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Charlestowne Fermentory out of Charleston, South Carolina. I believe this is the first time that they've bottled anything. I thought I heard someone say that in line. I'm not sure if that's true, but I'm pretty sure it is. Sorry, I'm just going to adjust the camera a little bit. But I also think this is the first time that they've, even if it wasn't the first time that they've bottled, I think this is the first time that they have released like a stout or a barrel aged stout like this. So this was done for their second anniversary today, which happened to be the same day as the barrel aged Mexican cake release. So there's a lot going on in Charleston today. But this is called Radio Burst. It's Imperial Stout aged in 12 months in high wire distilling Jimmy Red bourbon barrels. And I think high wire is local to Charleston too, which is cool. And it is, I know there's a distillery that's like right down the street from them. That might have been it. I didn't really catch the name of it. But it is 11% ABV. I did try, they had a single barrel version of this it was just in a single barrel of this, but same bourbon barrels and aged for 8 months. This is a blend of different barrels aged for 12 months, so I would assume that this is probably more refined than what I had, and if that's the case, then it's going to be really good because the single barrel was pretty good. And I also they called it a double version, but it was just a stronger version. This is 11, that was 13 version, but it wasn't barrel aged, but it had cacao nibs and cinnamon in it, and that was also really good. So I'm definitely looking forward to trying a bottle of this, and I'm assuming this is bottle conditioned. I can really smell it. So as you can see, it pours a really, really dark brown to black color with slightly less than a finger's worth of a pretty dark brown head. The aroma is very, very oaky. It's very oaky. There's a lot of dark chocolate and like brown sugar, and none of that dark fruit character, which is awesome. I will say the pour that I had was in like this tiny, not tiny, but like a 5-ounce glass that was one of those weird shaped things that are made for IPAs. So it wasn't necessarily the best glass to drink it out of. This is definitely more appropriate for this beer. And it smells really fucking good. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like it's not quite to the depth of like Black Magic, but it's kind of in the same realm, to be honest. It smells really good. That's really fucking good. Damn it. Sorry, I only said damn it because I already promised a couple bottles to people. Unfortunately, so I don't have as many left as I thought I did. Or not that I thought I did, but I was afraid. I should have thought about I should have drunk this before I offered it up to people, because I should have assumed that this would be better than the single barrel one because it was blended. The single barrel one's usually more barrel because they usually pick like the strongest barrel, but it's not as refined, and that's basically what I'm finding here. Like the other one I had was definitely more barrel, but this is a more refined beer. So it's not quite as like thick and sticky as like the big well-known barrel-aged Imperial stouts, but it has the flavor and the layering that a lot of them have. I mean, there's a lot of chocolate, and then it goes into like brown sugar and toffee, and then just like um, oak, and there's actually, to me, there's a little bit of like a coffee character to it too. Um, but it's not just for, at least I don't think it's just from the roasted malts. Like it really actually tastes like creamy coffee. It's very odd. Um, and when I say odd, I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just, excuse me, odd because there's not coffee in it. I mean, it's definitely similar to the single barrel, but not quite as much. It's definitely very spirit driven. Um, but the beer underneath is not, it's not super thin and watery. Like it's not crazy thick and sweet, but it's also not super thin and watery. It's actually I think it's pretty appropriate for what this is, and it's, it's not one of those things where the barrel overtakes the beer. It's just a nice complement to an already good beer. And that's, I was hoping that they had this not in barrels, just because I was kind of curious to try the non-barrel aged version of the beer, because it seems like there is a lot of barrel in this, but it's honestly kind of hard to really judge where the barrel starts and where the beer ends without having tried the base beer. So I would like to try that, but now that I'm having this again, I'm gonna definitely seek out more of this. I'm hoping that it stays under the radar because not a lot of people outside of the area know about them. But it is really, really good, and so I would say, on the no, no one wants these guys to blow up. I mean, of course they want to blow up, and people in Charleston might want them to blow up, but I don't want them to blow up. I want them to be like a hidden gem that only I know about, type thing. Because this is really good. This is really, really good. Yeah, sorry. I'm just It's been, I can't remember the last time I had a barrel aged Imperial Stout from a brewery that I like. I mean, I had heard of them, but from a brewery that I hadn't had anything from prior, and that I hadn't like heard a lot of hype behind them. I mean, there was local people that I had heard that their stuff was good, but it wasn't even based on this because they hadn't even done anything like this before. It was just like, oh, they make good IPAs, which is great, but there's so many other breweries that do that, so that really doesn't mean that much to me. In terms, like, you could do really good IPAs. It doesn't mean you can do this well, though. Excuse me. So this is one of the biggest surprises I've had in a long time. When I was drinking it at the brewery, I thought I almost got like some tannic character, which might have been like some early signs of infection. But I didn't. Now that I'm drinking this, I really don't think that's what it is. I think it's just the barrel kind of thinning out the beer a little bit, and sometimes when something's aged for a pretty long time, it almost has like a lacquer character to it. And that's what I was talking about Black Magic before. Black Magic has that too, and that's one of my favorite beers of all time. I think it's the best non-adjunct barrel-aged Imperial Stout ever. And it has, I mean, it has more depth than this does, but it has almost like that lacquer quality to it. Like it just has so much barrel in it that it's really like a true blend between spirit and beer, and that's kind of what's going on here. This isn't like as thick and as chewy as Black Magic, but it doesn't quite have the same depth, but it's kind of in the same realm as far as having that like big barrel character without it just being like straight booze. So I think everything I've said is pretty obvious, but this is a fantastic beer. No one knows about this yet, as far as I know, other than the people that live there. So try to get it as soon as you can before it gets out that this is really good stuff. That's my opinion. I'm definitely going to try to do the same thing. So yeah, that's all I got on this. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.